Yo Dios, muchas gracias por tenernos aquí. Todos acá hemos sido dirigidos con tu trabajo de ser guías mayores. Queremos hacer lo mejor que podemos hacer. Entonces, por favor, esté con nosotros de tiempo, que vamos a tener esta presentación, que sea guiado por usted y que tenga toda la información que tú quieres que nosotros tengamos. En nombre de Jesús. Amén.
First of our business, I would like to know where everyone is, so we're going to have an exercise where everyone is going to introduce themselves.
Ok, primeramente vamos a empezar con, ella quiere saber dónde todos son, entonces ella quiere que cada uno de ustedes se introduzca.
Ay, Dios mío, hasta ahorita.
You first.
Well, you can see my name, so me llamo Edwin Evra. That's how it sounds. And I am the coordinator for the Newark Zone. What I would like to say to people is like, in order to do communication, we have to have good eye contact. But in my culture, we don't do that. It is a sign of disrespectful to look people in the eyes. But I'm trying to get better at it.
Okay. So ella dijo que es la guía mayor, cuidadora de la zona de Newark y ella también quiere dejar de saber que para uno tener buena comunicación siempre dicen que nosotros estamos acostumbrados a mirarlos a los ojos directamente, pero en su cultura de ella eso no es la costumbre, más bien eso es una falta de respeto, pero ella está aprendiendo poquito a poquito poder hacer eso.
So we're gonna go to what is communication, basically. Who communicate to whom?
¿Con quién se comunica con quién?
Why do we
¿Por
communicate?
qué lo hacemos?
How do we communicate?
¿Cómo lo hacemos?
What are we
¿Y
communicating?
qué es lo que estamos comunicando?
And what are the results?
¿Y qué
of
son los
communication?
resultados de esa comunicación?
So in this slide, you can see what the objective is and what are your aspirations are for the group.
Acá mismo te va a decir el objeto y la experiencia que uno tendría con este requisito.
This is the definition. Mine is in English, so it's kind of saying the same thing, but in different versions.
Ya, entonces ella dice que ahí está la definición, la de ella la tiene en inglés, pero acá es en español, pero es la misma cosa básicamente.
I like to get everyone engaged, so I would like, even if I understand, cannot talk Spanish that well, but I would like you to read. I will like a volunteer to read the definition.
A ella le gusta que la gente participe, entonces le gustaría que alguien por favor lea eso para ella.
Aprender a desarrollar el arte de la comunicación eficaz en nuestras relaciones con individuos de todas las edades.
Thank you. And what's your name?
Yolanda.
Got it. This is how I'm gonna get you because you didn't present yourself. So, and this is also participation. So this is allow me to get to know, to put faces with names. So when you see me, you know me and I know you, and we can communicate better.
Ella quiere que cuando ella leen algo se introducen su nombre porque ella puede poner una cara al nombre.
The definition of communication varies by individuals' experiences, but we can agree on that definition.
Sí, la definición de comunicación varía entre diferentes personas, pero todos pueden decir que esa es la base de qué es la comunicación.
What are the type of communication? We just say that. What is communication? We're gonna have the 5 rules of communication, how to act, the barriers that have in communication, and the rules that are efficacious for us to understand how to communicate better. We all can talk, we all can communicate, but there's always room for improvement.
Todos podemos comunicar, todos podemos hacer eso, pero siempre hay espacio para poder mejorar. Entonces ella dice que estos son los procesos que es la comunicación, los 5 niveles de la comunicación, el acto de comenzar en la comunicación, barreras que impiden la conversación eficaz y reglas eficaz para la conversación.
So, there's a difference between hearing and listening, and we can see that this is saying we have to learn how to listen to have a good communication.
Entonces hay una diferencia entre escuchando y oír. Entonces uno tiene que, acá mismo te dice qué es lo que, I'm sorry, I missed the last part.
Oh, to have a better communication, we
Okay.
have to listen. not
Sí,
hear.
para tener mejor comunicación no solamente oírlo, sino de verdaderamente escuchar.
We can- We did say that, but I'm gonna say, you can say it. So In order to have communication, we need to have someone who is sending a message, someone receiving the message. We need to have a message to be translated into between both parties or different parties, and we have to find a way to send that message and learn how to respond to it.
Entonces, para poder tener la comunicación, tienes que tener alguien que está enviando el mensaje, alguien que está recibiéndolo, alguien que está estableciendo una conexión y en un momento y espacio determinados para transmitir, intercambiar o compartir ideas, información o significados que sean comprensibles para ambos. Esa es la comunicación correcta.
So we are communicating with each other in order to build a relationship.
Estamos comunicando con cada uno de nosotros para poder hacer una relación.
We have to learn from each other
Tenemos que aprender de unos a los otros
in order to evolve.
para poder evolucionar.
We have two different models that we're going to focus for the purpose of this class and the method of communication.
Tenemos dos diferentes modelos que vamos a estar enfocándonos en para los propósitos de esta clase.
The first one, we're saying that the art of communication is about appropriate languages, correct form, and hearing exactly what is being translated.
Entonces, ahí mismo dice, el arte real de la comunicación no es solo decir lo correcto en el lugar apropiado, sino callarse lo incorrecto cuando tiene la tentación de decirlo.
So the communication is not about only you speaking, you also have to be willing to listen to the person who's talking. More often we are more focused on our message, on putting ourselves out there, that we don't give people room to talk. We don't have the improvement, we don't improve to listen, and there is not an efficacious communication.
Muchas veces nosotros mismos no tanto oímos, sino solamente queremos poner nuestro mensaje allá afuera, pero en hacer eso de verdad tú no recibes lo que estás haciendo, entonces eso no es un tipo de comunicación buena en la cual uno debe tener.
This is also focusing on communication is not only verbally. You have to see the mannerism, like I'm standing here, I'm pivoting between the screen and you, I'm translating what is going on from that screen and you, and my phone also. It shouldn't be like that, but we're gonna work with it like that today. We also have to have good eye contact. As I said before, in my culture, it is being disrespectful, but I'm trying to get better because I'm in the United States. And also the manners, that the hand gestures that you are using, the way that you're facing the person that you're talking to. If I'm talking to you, if I'm talking to you and I am like that only, you cannot get the signal that I'm sending. You cannot see my face's expression.
Entonces, la comunicación no solamente es lo que estás diciendo, sino es cómo las maneras en las cuales tú los dices. Entonces, será el volumen, o será las cosas que tú haces con tus manos, será el contacto de ojos, o será lo que físicamente está tu cuerpo haciendo. Si uno da la espalda, la comunicación es un poquito diferente a si es que te estoy mirando cara a cara. Entonces, ya.
Communication is also with you have to be careful with what you're translating when you are moving around. We know that there are different cultures, so what I could say disrespectful to me could be okay for you. Mm-hmm. So I have to be aware of that and not judge people only based off my biases.
Entonces, la comunicación también tiene que ver con que lo que a veces uno hace puede a otras culturas ser ofensivas, o en yo no hacer algo te estoy ofendiendo, pero uno tiene que saber que para la comunicación apropiada yo tengo que saber cuál es tu cultura y tú tienes que saber cuál es la mía para poder tener una comunicación correcta en la cual los dos estamos entendiéndonos perfectamente.
The type of communication, there is verbal, there is non-verbal, there are visual, there are also the type that we are translating between.
Hay los diferentes tipos de comunicación. Hay verbal, no verbal, you said what was the third one?
Visual.
Visual. And then that's it.
Oh, so who can tell me what verbal, what category falls under verbal communication?
¿Quién puede decir que es un tipo de comunicación verbal? Un ejemplo.
When you say something.
Yeah.
Cuando dice algo.
Okay. Me talking to you directly is a form of verbal communication. There's also another form of verbal communication that people misinterpret, which is sign language. Sign language also falls under the category of verbal communication because it is the way that the deaf people communicate. So even if they are saying something they cannot really hear, but they are talking, they are doing hand gestures, so it is a form of verbal communication also.
ASL, el lenguaje de, ¿cómo lo dicen?
De señas.
Sí, el lenguaje de señas también es clasificado como una comunicación verbal que uno puede hacer, porque ellos están verbalmente diciendo qué es lo que ellos están hablando, expresándose.
Non-verbal communication. Someone else can give me an example of non-verbal communication.
Otra persona que da un ejemplo de qué es non-verbal, no verbal.
Comunicación.
Una carta.
¿Una qué?
Una carta.
Una carta.
Text message.
Yes.
A text.
Letters.
Comunicación escrita.
Yeah, he says written stuff. She says the eyes or like your facial
When
expressions.
the mom speaks
Like that.
to the kids, just like a look.
And what was her name?
Gianna.
Jana and
Elia.
Elia and I'm getting it, almost. So we did say yes. Visual, we have non-verbal like emails, letters, text messages. There's also fall under non-verbal. Anything that you're not using your mouth to talk, it is a non-verbal. But within that, there's also visual, which fall under the TV falls under visual communication because you can see what is being said.
Yeah. Entonces ya hablamos, ustedes dijeron todos los que son los non-verbal comunicación que no es verbal, entonces lo texteando, algo escribiendo, correos electrónicos, las caras que uno hace, pero ella también dice que hay una manera visual en la cual es comunicación. Y el televisor se puede clasificar como algo que es comunicación visual, porque tú estás mirando qué es lo que está pasando ahí.
There's also direct and indirect communication. Me talking to you directly face to face or on the phone, only the two of us, it is a direct conversation, it is direct communication.
Entonces también hay directo y indirecto comunicación. Entonces, hablándote cara a cara es la manera directa en la cual estoy comunicando contigo. Hablándote por teléfono es una manera indirecta que estoy comunicando.
Also, in indirect, there's another one, like if I'm giving someone a message to translate to someone else, it is another form of indirect communication.
Si yo le estoy dando un mensaje a otra persona para que ella lo traduzca y le diga a esa persona, eso también es una forma de comunicación indirecta.
Last two, we can say personal communication and professional communication.
También los últimos dos que podemos decir es comunicación personal y comunicación profesional.
When we are talking to our families members, to our friends, we don't use the same languages, we don't use the same mannerism as we do professionally. So me talking to my family as a church member, I can say that it is personal. It depends, but it varies between people. Professional, when you go to work, the terms that you use are different than the one that you use in personal.
Entonces, comunicación personal es la que tienes con tu familia, que tienes con tus amigos, la que es más relajado, mientras tu comunicación profesional es completamente diferente. Uno no hablaría de la misma manera que uno habla con su familia en la casa, con las personas en la oficina. Sería completamente diferente.
We did just this, but we're gonna focus on conversation, like communication, what you are translating, your ideas, your opinions, you are translating your emotions into communications. If there are people who are, they used to say that we're really emotional people, really emotional communicators, they are really fast to anger.
Okay, en las conversaciones también tenemos diferentes maneras y después, I feel like I lost you in the middle right there. I'm so sorry.
There are different types of communication. The way that you present your communication, we are based on your ideas, your opinions, your sentiment, and your emotions.
Okay, la comunicación se recibe de diferentes maneras dependiendo de tus propias opiniones. O sea, aunque alguien se está comunicando de una manera, tú quizás no lo vas a entender de ahí. Entonces, tiene que ver con tus opiniones, tus ideas. Y ella dio un ejemplo de que quizás hay alguna gente que se puede expresar donde se enojan y uno así recibió esa comunicación, o son rápidos para enojarse cuando se están comunicando contigo. digamos que alguien te hace repetirte como una vez, 2 veces, 3 veces, en la tercera ya estás como que ya gritando. Entonces, es diferentes maneras en las cuales uno se comunica.
If I am using my emotion only to communicate with you, you might receive it differently than what I intend to do.
Si solamente estoy usando mis emociones para comunicarme contigo, es más que cierto que tú me vas a malentender o no vas a recibir esa comunicación de la manera en la cual yo estoy tratando de dártela.
I'm gonna give you a type of emotion right now. Just you can see.
Ella te va a dar un tipo de
Oh,
emoción.
no, I don't want you. Exactly. This is me. I'm interrupting you. I'm putting myself. I'm overriding what you're saying. This is, I'm sorry. That was an example.
Para que se levante.
Pero ya, ese es un ejemplo de tipo de diferentes comunicaciones, porque ella solamente usó emocionalmente en vez de expresarse sin emoción.
Also, if when I'm talking, I want everyone to only focus on me. I don't want nobody to write. I don't want nobody to take note. I don't want nobody to move. This is me holding you basically prisoners. So you have to be free. Everybody learns differently. I have to be aware of that, and we all have to be aware of that.
Ya. Cuando nosotros nos comunicamos o nos presentamos algo así, uno tiene que también darse cuenta quién es tu audience o quién es tu gente que está escuchando. Yo siendo ella siendo una presentadora, que si ella diría que tú no puedes textear, no puedes escribir, no puedes algo, en realidad lo que ella está haciendo es manteniéndote como un prisionero en su presentación, y de verdad eso no es un tipo de comunicación que uno tendría, que sería efectiva.
So, also my ideas, I don't have to impose my ideas, my opinions on you, because we all have different backgrounds, we all have different experiences. So what I believe is true to me cannot be true to you. And this is where sometimes we are losing our translation in the message.
Ya. A veces perdemos translation, ¿cómo se dice en español?
La traducción.
La traducción de cosas, porque muchas veces estamos pidiendo nuestras propias ideas y opiniones en lo que estamos comunicando a otra persona. En yo tener mis creencias o en yo pensar lo que yo pienso, si te la doy así, no nos vamos a entender bien, porque yo estoy yendo con lo que yo creo, con lo que yo crecí, con mis creencias, y uno son bien diferentes a lo que usted tiene. Entonces, se va a recibir mal o no se va a recibir de la manera en la cual uno debe. Entonces, eso no es una comunicación en la cual ayuda.
For example, we as Seventh-day Adventists are being stigmatized in a way that people say if they invite us to their churches, we're not gonna go because we don't share the same message. And they also think that, but some of us do it, but it's not really okay. Like if I preach you the message, if I tell you the message and you don't accept, you become my enemy just because you don't want to share my values.
Yeah. Mucha gente cuando le invitas a la iglesia, desafortunadamente van a pensar que yo no quiero ir porque ellos van a estar dándome el mensaje de su manera de ellos, y yo no creo en eso. Pero más bien ella dice, y también eso nos impide a nosotros poder compartir el mensaje, porque mucha gente también desafortunadamente cuando le dan, si yo te comparto el mensaje contigo de las escrituras de la Biblia, si tú no lo crees, entonces tú te conviertes en mi enemigo. Así no debe ser, eso no es como uno se debe comunicar con otros.
For me to have effective communication, I have to put myself in your shoes. You have to put yourself in my shoes. This is how we can relate and have a debate, because communication, it requires at least 2 people. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you. We are talking to each other, we're not talking at each other.
Okay. Cuando tenemos conversaciones con otra gente, tenemos que pensar en la otra persona. Son 2 personas en la conversación, no solamente es una. Entonces yo tengo que pensar en usted y tú también piensas en mí. Yo no te estoy hablando hacia ti, nosotros estamos teniendo una conversación. Eso es como uno tiene una comunicación correcta en la cual los dos se van a poder entender qué es lo que se está hablando.
Before we continue with the next slide, can someone explain to me what they learned, and also anybody has any experiences they would like to share with each other?
Antes que sigamos, ¿alguien quiere compartir algo que ha aprendido durante todo esto, o una experiencia que usted ha tenido en comparación a todo lo que hemos estado hablando?
Yo sé que eso es para los clubes y para ser más eficientes en el ministerio. I know this is for ministry purposes, pero creo que es una buena charla para matrimonios.
It is. That's the one. For marriages, yes.
Oh my, porque
Está bueno.
uno puede llevar años casados, pero todavía no aprender realmente a comunicarse de la manera más efectiva, ¿verdad? So this is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yes.
Ella dijo eso y es algo que me vino a la mente justo. Es antes de yo casarme, mi esposo y yo somos del mismo país, pero antes de casarnos, él me dijo, mira, de donde yo vengo, una palabra que tú usas en tu ciudad cuando estás relajando, pero que es una mala palabra en cierta forma, nunca me la digas si estamos enojados, porque para mí es ofensivo. Entonces a veces uno, no, es como dice, ponerse en el zapato del otro. A veces uno, principalmente cuando trabaja con niños y con padres de diferentes países, es bueno conocer un poco de la cultura de cada uno y decir cada uno cómo son. You know, like she said, en su país no es bonito estar mirando a los ojos. Yo por lo menos, yo no hablo con la gente si no la miro a los ojos. Entonces, si ella no me lo dice primero y veo que está desviando los ojos, yo digo, o no está interesada, o qué le pasa. ¿Entiendes? Y para ella puede ser, ¿y esta por qué me mira tanto? O sea, por eso es importante saber qué piensa la otra persona, cómo es la otra persona y su cultura.
Okay, on what you just said, I'm gonna give you a clear example of how disrespectful it is in my country. Let's say that my mother is talking to me and I'm looking at her while she's talking to me, she will say that I'm trying to beat her. This is how far
Like
it
equal
goes.
like him.
Yes. It's like just come beat me. Just do. She will do exactly that. Just come do it. Just come beat me. Because you're looking at me at my eyes. You're not casting your eyes down. You have to. This is a form of respect for your elders.
Yeah.
This is how far they go.
In my country, if I speak to my daughter and she doesn't look at me, to me, she's not interested in what I'm
It's
saying.
not
And she's just talking to them.
This is why I say I'm improving, because when I came in here in the United States and also going to school, my teachers, oh, you have to adapt because Americans, they are like that. You have to look, because if you don't look them in the eyes, they think that you're lying. This is the basic line. Everybody, anyone familiar with movies, the cops, when they are interrogating people, they are looking at your hands, they are looking at your feet, they are mostly looking at your face, your eyes, what are you translating to them. So if you are casting your eyes down, she's insecure. If you're doing something else, she's not confident in what she's saying. So.
Sorry, what's your mother from?
Haiti.
Ah, okay, that's why.
I'm from
Okay.
Dominican
Got
Republic,
it.
so we're very
Yes,
close.
we are
Yeah,
close.
yeah. Ah, that's why.
Anybody else would like to share before we move on?
En términos de la comunicación, pareciera que solamente para matrimonios, pero si lo aplicamos, ese concepto de la comunicación en los clubes es efectivo por una razón. Uno, cuando te aprendes a comunicar, eso prácticamente se practicará mucho más con tu staff. Con la comunicación con el staff hace efectivo el curso o el éxito del club. Porque si esa comunicación, o sea, hay intermediarios, tiende a fracasar. Pero si hay la comunicación, más que nada va más allá, o sea, son muchos términos que ella explicó también, pero la comunicación en el staff es tan vital de que siempre estén comunicados, ya sea por texto, ya sea directa o indirecta. Eso fomenta, o vamos a decir, fortalece el término de ser un team, ahora sí, bien equipado, hay confianza y también hay inseguridades, pero esas inseguridades, o sea, superan a lo que nosotros nos conocemos ahora sí, entramos en confianza, se le dice. Y eso ayuda demasiado para tener un equipo ahora sí, no perfecto, por lógica, pero sí, ahora sí, efectivo. Esa comunicación prácticamente se practica más que nada con el staff, porque después de que tú estás con el staff, ahora el staff va a transmitir lo que se piensa del club al grupito que tiene, que solamente son 5 minutos que tú puedes capturar a esos muchachos.
That is very true what you just said. I can understand Spanish, I just lost practice talking. So, example, I didn't know I was going to teach in Spanish today because he didn't tell me. It is in the thing, but my name is not here. So I thought someone else was going to do it. So when Rena called me and said, do you know how that you? I'm like, no, are you sure? But we'll work it out. Also another form. If I am not having, in order for me to be a good leader, In order for you to be a good leader, you have to have good communication. You don't have to be your best at all time, but you have to be willing to improve every day, all day. Because people are changing, or emotional changing regularly. We don't know what someone is going through, so we have to be mindful of that. And this is what we are here to do. We are here to learn to lead people to Christ.
Ya. Para poder ser buenos comunicadores o buenos líderes dentro de nuestros clubs y con nuestro staff, uno tiene que aprender cómo comunicarse bien. Si usted no aprende cómo hacer eso, no vas a poder tener success, ¿cómo se dice? Éxito. Ya, eso estaba en mi cabeza, pero no se refería. No vas a poder tener éxito porque la realidad es que en tu staff, todo eso lo que ustedes tienen, son gente. Cada uno tiene sus vidas, cada uno tiene sus problemas y para poder hacer lo que el team tiene que hacer, tú también tienes que pensar en la otra persona, pero para poder pensar en la otra persona tienes que comunicarte con ellos, tienes que estar en esa constante comunicación porque si no lo haces, nadie va a saber nada y todos van a estar todo eso y todo te va a ir mal.
Anyone here working with adventurers or children in general? Anyone with Pathfinders? Anyone with Master Guide? Okay. So when you are telling something to your staff and the parent doesn't know, how do they react? Exactly. Lack of communication. What is not saying mostly says something else. It is more loud than what you are saying.
Más dice lo que uno no dice o lo que no se está comunicando que lo que ya se había comunicado. Entonces, si ustedes no le están diciendo las ciertas cosas que tienen que ir a sus staff o a sus padres, eso habla mucho más, o esa acción habla mucho más sobre lo que usted ya había estado diciendo.
I think with the communication is the way how you say the thing. So in that way, the person is going to react after that.
But it is also tricky because my tone, I didn't know I had a deep voice. I never knew I had a deep voice. I had to listen to myself and say, this is how I sound. Because often when I talk to customer service people, they're like, sir, I'm like, no, I'm not a sir, I'm a manager. Can you hear my voice? But they don't pick up on that. The way it is translated into the phones or other things. For example, if I am texting you, the way that I intend to send the message, you might not receive it that way. You might translate it somewhere else exactly because I don't know what is going through your mind. I don't know what type of relationship we have. You can base your emotion on the communication that I'm sending to you. So saying the tone of the person, yes, it is important to know, but let's not forget that we have different personalities. Let's not forget that culture is different. I don't remember his name, but he speaks really loud. And it is a really fun guy. He teaches with us. I'm sorry, I don't really remember his name. You might say that person is talking too loud, so you might not want to talk. You might say that it is imposing to you, but no. He did say that he doesn't know when he's talking that loud. And sometimes you have people who talk really slow or really soft. You might think that they are shy, but no, it is their personalities. So you have to be mindful of that. Also, if someone is using their hands a lot, a man that I found, like I might be sitting and then I do this. I don't know when I'm doing it, but I have a friend who was like, why? I'm like, I don't know, I just do it. So you might interpret it as I am stressing, I have anxiety, I'm gonna have a heart attack. So, oh, exactly. Or I am bored, but no, that's not what at all. There's another example, my face. I have some family members that usually come to me and say, you have a mean face. They think that I am not approachable. I'm like, this is my face. I don't know how you receive it, but no. And when they get to know me, they know that I love sharing jokes and everything. I'm a really fun person. So we also have to be mindful. We have to be understanding on what the tools we have to use so the communication is really good, but we also have to be mindful of the other concept.
No.
Translation.
I can't si no lo entendieron. Pero ella básicamente, la hermana acá había dicho que ¿cómo se llama? A veces, muchas veces también tu conexión tiene que ver con tu tono. Y ella dijo, bueno, sí y no, porque muchas veces el tono quizás no es exactamente la que tú estabas tratando de dar, pero es la que la persona escuchó. Por ejemplo, ella tiene un tono de voz bien bajo. Entonces, muchas veces cuando ella está comunicándose non-verbal, está el teléfono, ellos van a pensar que es... es un hombre que está en el otro lado. Ella dice, yo no soy hombre, yo soy mujer. No puedes escuchar el tono de mi voz y dicen, no, ese tono es bien bajo. Ahí es cuando ella averiguó eso. También uno tiene que pensar en las diferentes culturas cuando uno está comunicándose con ellos, las diferentes quizás inquietudes o cosas que ellos hacen. Por ejemplo, ella a veces cuando está solamente sentada va a mover su pie y todo eso. No significa que ella está ansiosa o que va a tener un ataque de cardíaco o algo así. Solamente es algo que ella hace y no es algo que no lo hace lo hace sin querer. Inconscientemente. También muchas veces la gente solamente por mirarte le dice a ella que su familia le ha dicho que ella tiene una cara bien seria o como malvada y en realidad es que no es eso. Ella no está pero así se ve. Ella dice, bueno, yo no puedo hacer nada porque la cara es mi cara, no la puedo cambiar. Pero lo que sí, ellos se dan cuenta una vez que la empiezan a conocer o interactuar con ella, que ella hace bromas, ella es bien amable y todo eso. Entonces, eso es lo que uno tiene que quizás, eso solamente son los diferentes tipos de comunicaciones que uno a veces hace que no te das cuenta porque están basadas en cultural, tu personalidad, las cosas que tú haces y etcétera.
We didn't go over this, but you are gonna have the slide. I'm gonna have, first of all, let me just, anybody have paper? I'm gonna be passing papers around so I can have your emails and send the slide to you.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm still gonna sign it at the end of the class, but I like to share the. Just start with your name, phone number, and email.
Ella ya repasó todo esto, pero estas son las instalaciones específicas de lo que ella ya ha hablado sobre. Y ahorita está mandando un papel para que ustedes pongan su nombre y su correo electrónico para que ella te pueda mandar este slide para que ustedes lo puedan estudiar mejor si es que quieren o recordarse en otro día. ¿Tengo?
We just said all that, but we're gonna emphasize on it again.
Ya habíamos dicho todo esto, pero vamos a sobreverlo otra vez.
There's a theory by Mirabian that says that communication is 70% of what we are not saying is saying more than what we are trying to say.
Hay un estudio, una teoría que dice que el 70% de la comunicación es lo que no decimos.
It is more than what people are hearing in your mouth. It is how you're presenting yourself to them. Communicating with people, talking to people, means being present to them. If someone is talking to you, the least you can do is pay attention. It doesn't mean that you have to do it every time, but you have to be able to give feedback. Like I'm talking to you guys, I'm trying to see around the room who's interested or not. I can interested or not, but I also can see that you are all here. But if someone I'm talking and they just, what is that saying to me? What is that saying to everyone? It is something, but that person, in their head, they might have an emergency. I don't know, but this is what I'm seeing. There is a saying that says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But they forgot to include how do you translate that picture, because it is received differently from everyone.
Entonces, muchas veces la conexión no solamente es lo que sale de la boca, sino es la presentación en la cual uno la está enseñando. Entonces, ella dio los ejemplos de que si alguien está hablando contigo, tú también tienes que estar presente en la conversación. No solamente es más o menos estando ahí y solamente un cuerpo que está, sino también es de verdadmente escuchando lo que está diciendo. Y después ella dijo, hay un dicho que una foto es vale como 1000 palabras, ¿verdad? ¿Verdad? Pero
una imagen vale más que 1000 palabras.
una imagen vale más que 1000 palabras, así es el dicho. Pero ella dice lo que se olvidaron de poner en ese dicho es que, what was
The intent of the picture, what is the context of the picture?
el contexto de la foto es lo que mucha gente no agarra. Se podría, los miles de palabras que uno usa para esa foto se podría decir en diferentes maneras, dependiendo de tu cultura, lo que tú estás pensando cuando tú ves eso. Yo podría decir algo de eso y tú podrías decir algo completamente diferente.
There are different barriers in communications.
Hay diferentes barreras en la comunicación.
What I intend to say,
Lo que yo intento decir,
the correct way to say it.
la manera correcta de decirlo,
What am I using to say
qué
it?
estoy usando para decirlo
And exactly how it is received.
y exactamente cómo está siendo recibido.
Also, what am I not saying?
Y también qué es lo que no estoy diciendo.
There is something called cursive thought. I don't know if anyone is familiar with
Hay
it.
algo que se llama el hablar cursivo. Cursive.
So it might mean something different in Spanish than in English, but they
Quizás en inglés y
mostly,
español significa algo diferente, pero lo que significa es
they mostly use it in the professional world. It is saying something so sweet with so strong words that you think that that person is being nice to you when they're talking professionally, but that person is cursing at you professionally.
Okay, so quizás no lo van a entender bien, pero en inglés lo usan cursive word o palabras cursivas, en la cual yo te estoy diciendo algo bien bonito o se suena bonito profesionalmente en el trabajo, pero en realidad es que te estoy insultando.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Entonces yo creo que hay muchas maneras en las cuales uno puede decir cosas bonitas en el trabajo o de una manera profesional, pero en realidad yo te estoy llamando un tonto.
Sofisticadamente.
Ajá.
So they just brushing the words, trying to lose the translation of what they are doing. They are being diplomatic in what they are saying. They are being tactful in what they are saying. So sometimes we have to take some out of that and be able to relate to everyone that we are talking to. But we have to be careful when we're doing that and make sure that we ask for feedback. If I'm saying something and I'm thinking that the expression that I see on your face is saying that you're lost, I'm gonna have to ask you, are you okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? What didn't you get? It's okay for me to say that I don't know everything. Anybody here is a know-it-all? No? Oh, that was different from my last time. You know, there is someone who always know everything, no matter what the subject. They always have something to say on that subject, even if they don't know. They only need to hear one word, and then they know it, and then they just say it. I had an experience with a teacher like that. I knew how I was gonna pass the class because she wants us to talk in class. She gives an assignment. With an assignment, we have also done the presentation in videos, but she wants us to talk in class. She doesn't want us to say much. As long as we give her that one word, that keyword that she's looking for, we can run with to the whole country. She's okay.
Okay, so regresando al el lenguaje, el cursive language o los cursive words, right, is what they're called. Muchas veces por eso nosotros cuando estamos comunicando también tienes que ser capaz de captar esas diferentes cosas y ver si es que de verdad estás entendiendo lo que te están diciendo, porque quizás puede ser que tú lo tomes así, pero de verdad no era así. Entonces por eso también es bien importante, no solamente cuando estás comunicando, decir lo que dices y esperar que todos te entiendan bien, sino preguntar si es que de verdad se están entendiendo. Tienes que decirle, sí entendió de esta manera que yo se trata de decir, y si es que sí, entonces sí, y si es que no, tienes que dar un poquito más. Y después ella dio un ejemplo también de que muchas veces hay gente que dice que siempre sabe todo, ¿verdad? Y entonces cualquier tópico que uno está hablando de, siempre van a tener una palabra en la cual van a decir. Y entonces ella dio el ejemplo de que en su clase ella tiene una maestra que ¿cómo se llama? Solamente necesita que ellos participen en clase mientras tú dices una palabra que quiere escuchar, no tiene que ser todo un dictado de lo que ella está hablando. Si solamente coges esa una palabra que ella quiere escuchar, ahí está completamente feliz y bien con lo que si estás captando lo que ella está enseñándote.
Also, what tools am I using to communicate?
También tienes que pensar en qué herramientas estoy usando para comunicarme.
There's a time for everything.
Hay un tiempo para todo.
If I send a text message or an email, I don't receive a feedback, I might need to follow up with a phone call to make sure that you're okay. I don't always have to need something from you to check on you.
Ok. Con la comunicación a veces tienes que, cuando mandas un texto o mandas un correo electrónico, muchas veces uno no va con la respuesta. Entonces, para yo poder coger esa respuesta, tengo que, aunque tú no me has dicho nada, para poder asegurarme que tú sí cogiste eso, quizás te voy a tener que llamar para asegurar que eso sí fue comunicado hacia ti lo que yo estoy tratando de decir.
Sometimes we can save someone's life because we don't know what they're going through with only one message, with only what we are presenting, or how we're presenting ourselves to them. Sometimes someone is facing something and you approach that person, you can either break it, put more pressure on her or he, or you can help that person feel better. Anyone have experiences with music? Music does that to you. What message you hear in that music, sometimes you cry, you don't know why you're crying. Sometimes you're just happy, it elevates the mood. Sometimes too, when you have those music that's really impactful in your brain, you feel your soul literally leaving your body. So this is also a type of communication. The tools that I'm using, how am I saying what I'm saying? And how am I talking to that person? Am I being human? Am I making sure that that person, what I'm saying to you, if you say it to me exactly how I say it, in the same tone, using the same things that I did, am I gonna be okay with it? If not, I have to read back. I have to start traveling and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying that way. I shouldn't say how I meant. This is how I meant to say it, but it came out wrong. It's okay to apologize, but sometimes we don't do that.
Entonces, la comunicación muchas veces te vas a dar cuenta que cuando, digamos que tú le mandaste un texto a alguien y ellos no te responden, en el tú seguir allá y tratar de seguir comunicando con esa persona, llamándoles o algo, tú puedes estar salvándole la vida sin tu saber. Tú puedes estar siendo esa persona que está ahí para ellos en un momento en el cual ellos no eran capaces de responder a otra persona, pero porque tú hiciste ese extra step, hiciste el paso extra. Usted pudo poder llegar a esa persona y ellos te pudieron poder decirte algo, cosa que no muchos agarran cuando están así. También habló sobre la música. La música muchas veces, si no te das cuenta, ella misma te puede transformar en una nota o en un algo. Eso es comunicación.
En algo vivido que uno le ha pasado.
Sí, sí, con las palabras que usa. Diferentes maneras. Unos puede ser por el tono de la música, otros puede ser por las palabras que están en ella. Así es como la música te puede impactar. Entonces, igual como con la comunicación. Y después de ahí, él dijo, tú tienes que siempre saber que tú estás hablando con otro humano cuando estás comunicándote. No es cualquier persona alguien que está haciendo tu trabajo para ti o algo así, whatever. No. Es usted comunicándose con otra persona que también tiene su día a día vida que lidera con. Entonces siempre tienes que pensar en eso y mantener eso en mente cuando estás comunicándote con alguien.
What can we get from that? We have to be direct sometimes in our messages. If I'm talking to my friend telling a story, fine, go into details. We live in a fast-paced world today where everybody is rushing. We don't really have to say everything that we are trying to say. Sometimes I can only get you for 2 seconds. Sometimes I can only get you for 5 seconds. But am I being practical in that 5 seconds? What I'm saying, is it useful to you?
Okay, también tienes que pensar en el tiempo en el cual tú tienes que para comunicarte. A veces tienes que ser directo y a veces tienes que ser personal. Entonces, el personal diría más tiempo, puedo estar hablando contigo por como 5 o 10 minutos. El directo es que solamente te tengo que dar esta información y ahí está. Y a veces tú tienes que mantener eso en mente cuando estás comunicándote con gente, si es que es necesario el personal o solamente la comunicación directa.
I have to try to be positive. The message that I'm sending have to be positive. I know that we are all human. We make mistakes. But when we see that our conscience is telling us that we shouldn't do that, just apologize. It doesn't cost them anything. It's not going to take anything away from us. But sometimes we're so prideful in our ways that we just lose someone in that person's that way. Anybody lost any friendship over something silly?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go back to it, you're like, oh, that's what she meant. Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, that's why I had that happen. Man, Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they exploded in a way because we did emotional talk. Some people are emotional talkers, some people are practical talkers. I might be talking to you, I only talk. You don't say anything. I don't give you room to say anything. But you would like to say something. But I'm imposing myself on you. Sometimes also, you might be talking, we might be sharing, but you're doing different things at the same time. And I'm like, are you listening to me? Are you receiving what I'm sending? Are you receiving exactly what I'm meant to send to you? So we have to be mindful. We have to send positive message, especially with our youth. Pathfinders, Pathfinders, I have experiences with them. They're gonna test you all day, every day. Especially when they see that you are young. Oh, you're my sister. I can do anything to you. I can say anything to you because we are in the same range. But no, it's not only about the title. I say quote unquote title because your work is not based on your title. I might have the title and not do anything. You might not have the title and do more than I do. But I also have to lead them. If I am the position of the leader and I'm not leading, what is going on? We're losing them. And this is how we sometimes lose our kids out of church. They are leaving the church because they find it boring. But sometimes we could do something. When you take time to talk to them, detach them from their friends that are influencing them, get to know them on one-on-one versus when they are in group, you get taught these different versions.
Ok, so ella empezó diciendo que muchas veces cuando uno comunica algo, alguien te va a malentender, casi siempre te va a pasar. Lo que nosotros como cristianos y como humanos tenemos que saber es que tenemos que pedir perdón si es que alguien nos malentendió. Tenemos que dejar ese yo, dejar ese egoísmo que tenemos en que no, yo lo dije como lo dije y si no me lo aceptaron así, entonces bueno, eso es problema de ustedes y no problema mía. No, uno tiene que no tener ese tipo de actitudes. Muchas veces hemos perdido amistades porque hemos tenido esos tipos de reacciones donde cuando uno mira hacia atrás dice, oh, ella solamente dijo esto o él solamente dijo eso, no era para tanta gran cosa o quizás lo malentendí, pero se convirtió en toda esta cosa. Y después ella también habla sobre cuando tú eres líderes con los clubs, con Pathfinders, con eso, los niños te van a probar, los niños te van a tratar de ver que cómo ellos pueden en su manera disfrutarse más o solamente no mucho tener que liderar con la responsabilidad que es ahí. Pero tú como líder tienes que poder comunicarte bien con el niño. Muchas veces los niños en Pathfinders tienen influencias dentro del grupo. Entonces lo que uno tiene que hacer es apartar al niño de ese grupo, no en ese momento para poder comunicar bien y quizás el regreso diferente y hacerlo uno por uno con cada uno de tus conquistadores o tus aventureros. Así es como ellos van a poder entender o tú vas a poder comunicarte mejor en la manera en la cual no solamente es un grupo de ellos que se están burlando haciendo algo así. Cuando uno como líder tiene que saber cómo hacer eso y cuando tú estás liderando con estos niños tienes que dar ese lugar que tú eres el líder ahí y tú vas a comunicarte bien con ellos.
So there are two faces, there are two sides on everything.
Hay dos lados de cada cosa.
Being direct in a message.
Siendo directo en el mensaje.
Someone might say that I am too direct.
Quizás alguien dice que soy muy directo.
Being clear in something.
Siendo clara en algo.
Someone might say that I'm too rude.
Quizás alguien va a decir que estoy muy
ruda.
Saying too much in my message.
Diciendo demasiado en mi mensaje.
Someone might find it boring.
Quizás alguien lo encuentra aburrido.
So we have to be careful. Only the Holy Spirit can help us. Only God can help us because we are human.
Sí, entonces nosotros tenemos que tener mucho cuidado y en realidad solamente pensar en que lo único que nos puede ayudar es el Espíritu Santo y nada más. Nosotros tenemos que estar seguros que nosotros estamos diciendo lo que es lo de Dios y Él va a guiar todo y que todos entiendan de la manera en la cual Él quiere que nos entiendan.
Yes.
Doy gracias a Dios por este seminario. Quizás saben que hace 3 días atrás una hija de un pastor en Georgia se quitó la vida. Ella dejó una carta a sus padres. Y a mí eso me ha tocado mucho porque es la hija de un pastor. Hoy el seminario para trabajar con el staff está muy bueno. Pero necesitamos lograr este nivel de comunicación con los niños también. Tenemos el club de conquistadores y aventureros tan apretado que a veces no nos fijamos que lo que el conquistador más necesita es alguien que lo escuche. Pero ellos no se van a abrir, sobre todo los que son ya no preadolescentes, sino los adolescentes. Son muy cerrados. Y hay que ver el lenguaje corporal, hay que orar el Espíritu Santo, y hay que salvar a esos muchachos, porque no nos sorprendamos que algunos de los nuestros, en nuestro distrito ha habido casos de jóvenes que han atentado contra su vida. Y están aquí, son de nuestros clubes, los vemos todas las semanas en la iglesia. Así que como staff hay que tomar tiempo para tratar de lograr el nivel de comunicación donde ellos manifiesten sus emociones. Quizás no lo hagan con los padres, quizás lo necesiten hacer nosotros, pero ¿cómo hacer? ¿Cómo lograr ver? Y mi pregunta es, ¿cómo lograr que un adolescente llegue a ese nivel de comunicación? Porque usted les habla y ellos 2 o 3 palabras y ya. Es difícil que un joven de 14, 15 años
13 años
te cuente algo. Entonces, eso está pasando y creo que esto es muy bueno, pero también hay que buscar cómo lograr que los jóvenes se comuniquen.
On that or something else?
Yo soy maestra de menores en los últimos 10 años y es porque, por 2 razones. Una es que casi nadie le quiere dar clase a los menores y los early teens, que normalmente en las iglesias no lo cogemos hasta los 10 años, hasta los 12, sino hasta los 14 porque no hay menores, ¿verdad? Maestros, para eso ni clase ni espacio, que conste, porque el espacio a veces. Y una de las cosas que en estos 10 años yo tengo en la clase es una caja de preguntas. Es una caja negra, yo siempre ando hasta con foto ahí. Es una caja negra que lo hacen ellos mismos, la forramos negra, mejor dicho, con signos de interrogación. Cada vez que ellos tienen una cuestionante, tienen una preocupación, quieren hacer una pregunta, ellos llegan con su papelito sin ponerle el nombre y lo echan en la caja. Nosotros tenemos esto y es que cada 2 semanas sacamos algo de la caja. A veces son preguntas bíblicas, otras veces es una niña, sus padres se divorciaron, dice, y una de las preguntas que había es, ¿por qué mis padres se divorciaron? Yo no valgo nada para ellos. Ellos no entienden mi sufrimiento. Claro, ella no pone nombre, pero todos sabemos quién es. Ese día, yo no le puedo decir que ni me acuerdo de que era la lección de escuela sabática. Y hago a alguien que me dijo, mi niño estudió la lección de escuela sabática, yo le pregunté, la mamá, yo le pregunté si le preguntaron el versículo, si esto, si lo otro, y me dijo que hoy no hubo lección. Digo yo, ¿y qué más le dijo su niño? No, yo vengo a preguntarle a usted. No, yo soy la directora. Era la directora en ese momento. Entonces le digo, ok, vamos a llamar a su niño. Su niño que venga y le vamos a preguntar qué aprendió hoy de aquí. Y cuando el niño le dijo, entonces yo le dije, era más importante recordarle, porque el niño sabe quiénes eran los discípulos de Jesús, que se aprendiera en este momento los 12 nombres o que nosotros ayudáramos a ese niño. Entonces la mamá después me dijo, perdona. Yo le digo, a veces nosotros los padres hacemos daño también con ellos, porque los hijos no nos cuentan, pero tampoco dejamos que se abran al maestro. Yo creo que como maestro, por lo menos es algo que a mí me ha resultado bastante, es pasarme tiempo. A veces decimos, tomamos 10 minutos cada sábado para eso, pero cuando hay que extenderse, olvidémonos un poco de ese currículum, porque los niños necesitan de uno. Y a veces él está pasando cosas en la escuela. Y a veces los papás me dicen, no, yo sé que tiene una noviecita. Ajá, y usted sabe lo que está pasando ahí. Usted solamente sabe eso. Entonces, eso que usted dice no es cierto. O sea, nosotros necesitamos dejar un poco ese currículum tan apretado que tenemos ver que ellos se expresen sobre todo, porque es tan difícil a veces.
Es un privilegio para cada maestro de cada clase hacerse amigo de ellos y que ellos se abran y conversen. Hay que hacérselo ver a cada maestro de la clase también.
You have to be able to relate to everyone and try in every situation. What I'm translating to that group might not work for this one. I have to be flexible. When I'm leading people, it's not about me. It is about them, but it's about God first.
Amen.
What does He want me to translate to them? This is the best. As long as we know in our head, as long as we keep that in mind, that I'm leading people to God, and for God, we got it. We are gonna be tempted, but continuously prayer. God is asking us to communicate with them, with Him. How many times are we talking to God, not at God? There's a difference talking at someone. This is a one-sided conversation. Then talking to someone, two people talking together, exchanging ideas, sharing what they think, what they believe. There is a difference in hearing someone than listening to someone. I'm hearing you, I don't have to pay attention. It is just my senses that are talking, that are being emotions. I'm hearing noises, I'm hearing shoes, I'm hearing the noise in the hallway, I'm hearing it. But am I paying attention to you? This is listening to you. Sometimes we hear people, sometimes we hear God, we don't try to listen to Him. Because what He's telling us, we don't want it. But one way or another, He's gonna win. And He wants the best for us, He sees better for us, He knows better than us. So we have to try to mirror that image. I might not know best all time, every time, but I'm gonna ask who knows better than me. I have to be able to get the information from somewhere. I have someone above me. They don't know, let's go find someone else who knows. Nobody knows? Let's discuss about it. How is that happening? We have a problem. Let's resolve it. We also have to respect other people's opinions. I don't have to like what I'm hearing from you in order to respect you. I don't have to be okay with what you're saying, how you're saying, in order to know that this is your voice. This is your experience. This is what you're going through. This is how you perceive things. I'm not imposing myself on you. We're not supposed to impose our message on people. The Bible says the Holy Spirit will convince them, will convince people. Our job is share the message. That's just it. Just share it. Share it with love. Don't just like, Jesus love you. Today, I'm with you. I'm talking to you. We are mad at each other, right? I'm saying every other words, blue colors, everything to you. And then tomorrow at church, I did a presentation and I'm like, oh, I'm about to do communion. And I come to you, Jesus love you. How is that person going to receive the message? Yesterday we were fighting. What Jesus is talking to me? What Jesus are representing? Is it a Jesus that is rude? It is a Jesus that is not really compassionate. Sometimes our youth don't understand who God is. We have to know that some of them have experienced God, some of them haven't. We're never too young to experience God. But in us saying that this is our way, this is the only thing that you are supposed to understand, this is the simple way, stay straight in church, don't move, don't go out, this is church. There is an age gap. The way that I'm listening to God is different than the way that you're listening to God. Our experience is different thing. And God is the best communicator.
Amen.
We have to be willing to listen to what He's saying in order for us to listen to what others are saying. You have a question?
Yeah, yo iba a hacer un comentario sobre lo que acabas de decir de respetar las opiniones de otras personas. Yo tengo que estar de acuerdo y eso ayuda mucho a entender este punto cuando lidiamos con otros líderes de la iglesia. Porque pensamos de que porque ellos piensan diferente que yo, entonces están contra mí. Y eso no es el caso. Puedo yo poner un punto en la junta y la junta decide no aceptar el punto. No lo debo tomar yo como algo personal, que no quieren que yo no trabaje, sino es que ellos tienen su propia opinión. Y no me voy a enojar con ellos porque ellos decidieron no hacerlo. Porque ellos también tienen sus propias opiniones, sus propias preocupaciones, ¿verdad? Y lo estamos haciendo todos juntos y la mayoría pues vota y así es. Pero no es algo contra mí. Yo voy a amar al líder. Puedo pensar que está equivocado. Puedo pensar que a lo mejor no tiene suficiente información. Pero no voy a pensar que es una persona mala o que tiene algo contra nosotros, que no quiere al ministerio. No, sino es que solamente que somos diferentes. Y cada uno puede decir su opinión.
I'm gonna go with something. Conflict. When there is conflict, don't see the person, see the conflict only. You're resolving. In order for you to resolve the conflict, don't see the person that is bringing the conflict to you. Just talk about what is being presented to you. Let's resolve it. Why does God say, love your enemies? This is a big one. I'm gonna go further than that. To say it is deep, but also, are there bad people?
Hablaron de los enemigos y
I have a question. Are there bad people? Are there bad people in the world or good people in the world? Are we all good? No, we're not. Are we? I'm gonna say yes. Everyone is good. We do bad things. This is why God say, I love the sinners, I hate sin.
Yes, right.
He's focusing on the issue. We have to know how to focus on the issue also. Because you present something to me, you have your own opinion. I'm not hearing what you say, I'm not listening to what you're saying. I'm just seeing you talking to me. This is not a good communication. So, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get the question at the end. We have to.
Passion por la junta.
No sabemos que Yo sí necesito una almohada.
Listening to versus listen versus hearing. Hearing versus listening. Hearing, it is some things that my ears, my senses are doing. I have 2 ears, 1 mouth, for one reason. I don't need 2 mouths.
Yeah.
I have 2 hands. I have 2 feet, but I only have 1 mouth,
Yeah.
2 ears. It requires attention for me to talk to people. My mouth, the Bible said that our tongues hold the power of destruction
Yeah.
or bring life to people. What you say on you, sometimes you say something you don't really mean it, you see it coming true. What does that say? What you are projecting is gonna come back.
Yes.
Ask God for forgiveness, it is the only way. But you're gonna see the consequence. You're still gonna see the consequence. Just ask Him for guidance in that presence. So we have to learn how to listen to people rather than hearing people. Yes, we need to hear people in order for us to listen, in order for us to understand. It is a circle. It's a we're hearing, but don't stay at hearing the person. Go to the next step.
This point is very important
Yeah.
with the work, with your staff. Because there are many directors, they think they, only his or her ideas is correct. But we need to hear our team.
Before I go, I remember you. You had a question? No, you good? Okay. This one? I remember seeing your hands up. So, we did say that. We have to be efficacious in what we are hearing, listening to. The fact that I am not listening to,
I don't know why it keeps changing, but
Yes.
okay.
I'm not doing anything.
There, I think this. Esa otra cosa, ya no se habla.
Sí.
Solo un sticker o un emoji.
Un emoji.
Entonces uno tiene que aprender a leer los emojis. Hay que tomar un
Okay,
curso,
hopefully it stays. I
tomar
don't
un
know
curso
what's
de
going on.
emojis.
Vale, Fernando, para que hace lo que tiene.
Hopefully it will stay. So, listening to people, sometimes we are defensive, sometimes we are rude, sometimes we choose to listen only what we want to hear. Selective hearing. You're talking. What you're saying is important to me, but I can tune you out because I'm not listening to what you're saying. I'm hearing you, I'm seeing your mouth move, but I'm not paying attention. I choose to listen. The way I am is the way I am. You're not gonna change me, don't bother. This is what I'm telling you. This is also the way that I'm saying, interrupting people. Anyone ever having a conversation with someone and then they just talk over you?
I am the interpreter.
So we have to, I'm glad you brought that up because we have to know our strength and our weaknesses. Keep improving our strength, but work on our weaknesses. Be willing to say, I don't like the way I did that. Be okay with it. We're making it is our mistakes. Own it. Learn from it and move on. Efficacious way. I'm so sorry. I'm putting French into English. I don't know why, but it is happening. So, in order for us to have an active communication and efficacious communication, yes, it does start with hearing, but sometimes what you hear is not what I meant. What I say versus what you hear, how I say it versus how you took it, what I meant to say versus what you understood, different. And we lose people. We lose in the communication process. We lose in the goal that we're trying to accomplish. And then when we don't see that we have a problem in that instance, we just do this. And we stay like this. But God wants us to do this and lead people to Him. So in order for us to do that, we have to be willing to. We have to invite people to enter. We have to lead people through Christ. How? If you're not a good communicator, you don't have to be the best. We all know how to talk. But are you willing to learn? Are you willing to keep learning? Are you willing to keep improving in order to choose in how to lead people? The way I am leading you is going to be different than the way that I'm leading them. You have to be flexible. Go with the movement, but keep your values, which are related only to God.
Amen.
Your values changes every time because it is based on your emotions, it is based on your culture, it is based on your experiences. There are so many things that can add or retract from your values. But once you keep only God in hand, in your mind, you will stay with the focus. So the first one was paying attention to your presence, the presentation, how you present yourself, especially when you go into interview. Anyone ever say that? When they are interviewing you, I'm sorry, let me borrow that chair a second. The person is in front of you. Hi, my name is, how you introduce yourself? They're talking that way, you like that. What am I saying to you?
I don't care.
Oh, I'm like that. Oh, I'm like that. Oh, I'm like that. My presence. You have to be willing to adapt. Your non-verbal communication, you have to be willing to adapt to the culture that you're living in. Keep yours, but work on the others. If you're going to an interview, they want to see this. Yes. Pay attention. I understand. Okay. Well, I meant to do that. I meant to say that. Okay. Thank you. I know I'm not okay with it right now, but I can learn. Sometimes we say that we don't mean it. We just want the job. And once we got it, we're like, they didn't tell me that. Yes, they did. You weren't paying attention. So we have to be mindful of it. Thank you. Rules to listen to people, to be efficacious with the way that we're listening to people. We have to put ourselves in the other person's place. What I'm doing, if you do it, am I gonna be okay with it? If I'm not gonna be okay with it, there needs to be a change. The golden rule, do to others what you would like to be done to you. Talk to others the way you would like to be talked to. And if that person cannot talk to you that way, it's okay. You can be okay with it. Do not encourage it, but talk to the person and say, you said this, I didn't understand. Is this what you meant to say? Or did I hear it correctly? They say yes, okay, I didn't like that. Can we find a way to work around it? Conflict resolve. And then forget about it. Like the New Yorker says, forget about it. Sometimes we hold it, we're holding our grudges because that person did that thing one time. We forgot the all millions thing, the million good things, the million good things that that person said before. We stuck on the negative one. If God only saw the negative one, we will ever be forgiven for our sins. God, I'm sorry today. 10 seconds. I'm sorry again. I fell. 20. I'm sorry. The next day, God, please forgive me. You know I am. He is forgiving us. But are we willing to forgive others? This is also a type of communication. If I'm in the same room with you, on the same bed, my back is to your back. I'm not talking about turning around in your sleep, sleeping, not having issues. The Bible says, do not let the sun set on your anger. Why? You think that if you keep it that way, you're gonna make it up there? There's no sin up there. Why did the devil went to grab Moses when he died? He made a mistake, didn't he? He was supposed to talk to the rock. And then water him out. And then when that happened, the devil said, oh, he's mine. Only one mistake. The devil said, he is mine. God said, no. He came himself and grabbed Moses' body. Because he repented in his heart. Do not let the sun set on your anger. Communication, non-verbal communication, it is a non-wording case. How do we resolve the conflict? We've been saying this over and over. How do we resolve it? First, there is a saying that says, where there's a will, there's a way. If you're willing to, you will find a way. It might take time, it might take several fails, but once you're willing to learn from those failures, anybody ever hear people talk from success? I had a million ideas before that one worked. I tried several times before that one worked, but I didn't stay in the failures. I moved on. So, in order for me to resolve the conflict, I'm gonna be facing people who's gonna test me. First of all, I have my problems. You're coming to talk to me with your problems in your head. Our problems are clashing with each other. What's going on? But am I willing to put those problems on the back of my head to pay attention to what you say and help live together? It's not a mistake that God put us, the family first. Mother, father, children. Why? We need to learn to live together. In order for us to live together, we have to communicate with each other. If we each are in different areas, what is that saying? Today we have the cell phone. This is wishing further than ever. But what are we putting out there? How are we putting it? How are we using this? COVID tested us on that. We couldn't talk to people anymore face to face. What were we doing? This. In COVID time, I thank God in the sense that I understood that it was a time for me to take a break. It was a time for us to take a break because we were rushing too much. We lost focus on Him. What happened when COVID hit? God, oh my gosh, my family, We're talking to him, not at him. Sometimes we're like, God, I want you to do this. If you do this, I'll do that. We're talking, well, we to God. He's God. Yes, we can say this is my desire. He's waiting for us to have a communication with him. Tell him what you would like to. He's gonna tell you yes, it's gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. But are you okay with it? You have to be willing to find solutions that are gonna work for everyone. Yes, we not might be able to please everyone every time, but let's all find a common ground. Also, how are we making friends? Are we, because I am a leader, I cannot be your friend? Or is it because that you're my friend, I cannot tell you what you're doing, I don't like it? It's not supposed to be that way. Sometimes we're letting people go because I know that person, or that person did so much, but in that position, what I'm gonna tell you not to do might save it. You might save that person. Till this day, I remember all my adventurous trainings, my adventurous teachers. I remember who did what. I remember who made an impression on me, a good one. It's still there. You might think that because you didn't grow up in church, because you didn't have experience in adventurers, you don't know anything. Yes, you do. You were a kid once. You just did that. But are you able to relate to the kid? Are you able to level down? Sometimes we are so high up here that the person, the kid is talking to us and we're not able to be here. It's like you have to come to me, but no, you have more experiences than that person. You understand things better than that person. So what are you translating? What message are you putting? Be willing to discuss the problem in order to resolve it.
La clave para ganar es mantener la compostura en medio de las del estrés.
Oh,
Keeping
we did talk
composure
about,
in stress.
yes, we did talk about that, but it also varies. Can also vary. Anyone familiar with that verse? Okay, what is it saying to you? How are you receiving it? How are we interpreting the Bible? Sometimes we are fighting with each other because the way we interpret the message in the Bible is our way. It is not God's way. It is a form of communication. He put it there for us to understand. To go to Him. If you don't understand what is the best thing to do, God, I don't understand what you just said. What I'm reading, I don't understand it. Can you help me? The Holy Spirit is here. But are we willing to also do that with others? I am not preaching. This is also a form of communication. Are you willing to talk to? Are you willing to listen to? In order for you to have and this is what we had. But there is something that is not in that slide. In terms of nonverbal communications, what is happening today? If I am doing this, I'm talking, you can only see this.
Yes.
You don't say this. I can be making something else beyond the mask. I call this a mask behind the mask. In order for you to understand what I'm saying, I can do everything with my mouth right now. Y'all can't see it.
Incluso cuando uno, bueno, antes cuando se utilizaba mucho la máscara, uno podía ver cuando uno aprendía a identificar cuando una persona se sonreía, sin incluso verle su sonrisa con la expresión de sus ojos.
Okay. Let me show you something. First, I have to get out of this one. Just bear with me a second, please. Difference. Very different. Mask on, mask off. She's angry. Can you see her anger? Is this the same up there as this? Yes, it is.
Yes.
If you're focusing on those, it is the same thing. But when you go down there without the mask, it's different. When you do this, you can think that person is crying, right? No. She's fearful. She's fearing something. This is expressing an expression of fear. Here. What do we think that person is not interested? Boring? Something else? But no, she's happy. Mask on, mask off. How do we learn from that? How are we able to perceive the non-verbal cues with mask on? I can be all day talking about it, but none are gonna work because only God can help you. I can say that I think she was paying attention, and then at the end of class, everybody was like, "What was she talking about today?" Different. Here, if you focus up there only, it's the same thing. But here, she's being happy. Here, she's just meh. Also here,
Wow.
if you go here and here,
Yes.
same up there. But here, she's fearing something. She's afraid. In here, she's sad. Up there. Up there. That's why sometimes I'm talking to someone and I'm like, do you mind me taking my mask off? Because this says more than this.
Yeah.
So that was my presentation. Anybody has questions? I think we have about 7. But I'm gonna be saying, everyone put their email?
La hermana estaba dormida, por eso no le dimos. Le pasamos la hora.
¿Y por qué no me cobiaste, muchacho?